Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon and today I'm going to tell you all about the game Doodle Dungeon. This is a complete how to set up, play and review for this 2 to 4 player game for ages 10 plus, 45 to 60 minutes, and it's by SPIEL.digital with illustrations by John Kolverk, who you might recognise from the game Munchkin. He also does it in the German language for SPIEL.digital, and Ulrich Bull is the designer. There's some fantastic intro and very funny to read information basically about why you even have a dungeon. Basically, you've signed up with a new landlord, you've moved in. Unfortunately, your dungeon is completely bare, it's completely empty. And as you can see, you now need to be filling in this grid. There are other games that you might want to check out, such as Cartographers, if you're familiar with that, because eventually you're going to be taking out certain cards, as you might be able to see here, drawing dungeons, and your hero, or a hero, an unsuspecting hero, is going to come, walk into this dungeon, have to follow where it can go. So it could go down here, which of course is a dead end. You can choose where it goes, and then eventually you want to get it out, because if it gets out, then you have actually lost 5 victory points because you are dungeon master and you're making the hero crawl, but you don't want the hero to win, you want the hero to lose. So you want to make sure it fights, it's going to fight and hopefully lose the fight, which means that your monster stays alive. And for every monster that stays alive, you're going to get victory points, depending on which type it is, a goblin, an orc or a dragon, 1, 2, 3 victory points. They do more damage to the hero though as well. And you get more victory points if you happen to hide treasures, which must be under a certain monster that you can choose, but you have to do it at the beginning of the game, and you have to ensure that obviously it hasn't been defeated, because otherwise the hero will find it. Let me explain all that to you. So, firstly, you're going to take a deck of cards. I'm going to explain the setup for a 3-player game, and then explain how that works. So, there's a number of cards here. I believe there's 60, and they'll have 2 different things you can do on them. So first and foremost, discard 4 cards. So you're going to discard a number of cards depending on the number of players. For example, in a 2-player game, you're discarding 18 cards. Now these cards have various effects. Initially, we're doing phase A, which is the dungeon build. And what you're going to be doing is having a number of cards out. So I'll quickly shuffle these up and explain what happens. So quick shuffle. So you're going to have out, let me move this just to the edge of shot. So you're going to have 4 cards in front of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And depending on who's starting, they will be the first player to pick one of these cards. The first player marker is indicated with, funnily enough, a very cool pencil sharpener. So everybody is going to take a pencil, and everybody can have dice later on for the final phase, phase C, when we're going to be fighting. Of course, being in the dungeon, you're using well, in these cases, we're using D10 dice. And funnily enough, they do mention things like Dungeons and Dragons, whereby they say, well, determine the starting player using dice, of course. So everyone's also going to take a minimum score pad, a tiny score pad as well. And aside from this, whilst I'm getting this all out, please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already to check out other videos I'm hopefully doing, such as for Doodle Dungeon, a kind of a competitor, maybe, which is called Paper Dungeons. So you can have a little stencil you can use. So you can basically take the stencil and draw these shapes as you need to. Or you can draw them freehand. There's some fantastic people drawing them freehand. It's very impressive what they've done. Of course, in this instance, yes, you can see some of these can be drawn freehand as you wish. So you're taking them out, you're drawing them. You're going to have some heroes each as well. So everyone's going to have 1 hero each later on. But of course, they're not essential right now. Let's move that out of shot or under the box. And there's an eraser, there's a rubber, which is very handy to play with because lots of games don't come with one, and then you have to sort of figure it out yourself. Especially in roll and writes, which technically this is in a way, or at least a flip and writes because using cards. So the first player is going to pick one of these cards, so you can read what's on the top. The next time the hero takes damage, they take 2 less damage. Remember, you're trying to keep your hero alive in other people's cave, that's how this works. The next time in the fight, the monster has 3 strength, so actually this is helping the hero stuff out. The next monster fight, the hero's 3 strength, same card again, but different stuff down the bottom. The start of the next turn, the hero regains strength. So as you can see, these are all cards which are helping the hero, just to show you the variation going on here. Because as you can see, these have been well shuffled and they don't kind of re-stack afterwards. They're quite large cards. I don't know if they need to be this big, but let's say as an example, you've got an energy drink, you've got the aim boost, and yeah, let's say you've got the talisman then. Okay, so various different things, you can roll additional die in a fight. Sometimes you can strengthen up, sometimes you can roll 2 additional dice and pick the 2 lowest or the 2 highest or the total dice. Sometimes you can do other cards such as things that help out various monsters, like the dragon you can have 5 strength, you can have the goblin that has more strength, and orcs and stuff like that. So in this instance, now what we're doing is you're going to take your piece of paper, of course you're going to write your dungeon name on it, the dungeon master, and you're picking one of these cards. So right now, let's say that, we are going to roll 2 additional dice in a fight and to move the 2 lowest. So you'll be rolling 2 dice later on, and I've rolled a 1 and a 10. Well, I don't want the 1, so I'll roll 2 more dice. I've rolled another 10, another one. Fantastic. That's probably the best you can ever get, of course, goes up to 10. So that's going to be a very good card to hold on to. But first and foremost, you're not doing the top bit, you're doing the bottom bit. So you're drawing 3 pieces of wall. So you're going to draw 3 pieces of wall. You can't block off the hero at any point. You can't block off a corner or anything like that. But right now I might draw walls here, which means that the hero's definitely got to go in this direction. And then I've got to draw, in this order, you always draw the thing on the left first, and then you draw a goblin. So the goblin, I'll probably draw right at the very beginning, smack there, so you're going straight into it. It's kind of got a strength advantage of 0, so it's going to have 2 dice plus whatever it rolls, and it needs to be higher than 20. The hero always rolls a 20, which is equal to its health. It always rolls a 20, and in this instance, we're trying to bring it down lower. So we got very lucky with 20. We need to boost it at some point using these cards, which represent improvements. You can cross off, in this instance, you can cross off any one and any one. You don't have to do it for the same thing. As well as this, you can do it as you wish as well. So right now we have a goblin. We're going to put that there. You cannot have any traps, which we come onto, which looks like this. You cannot draw any traps or monsters directly next to each other. So with a line here, I'll probably drew maybe an orc here. I could, of course, draw an orc here as well, but I've got to draw in that order. So I could put the goblin there first. So I do an orc first, then a goblin, then an orc, and then I might do another orc there, for example, or whatever I want to do. So you're going to go along, and then everyone else is going to pick their card. There's going to be one left. Let's say it's this card. It's going to be discarded. Of course, everyone's been given a card. That's going to go into my pile ready for later, for phase C. I haven't talked about phase B. In phase B, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be actually drawing the path of the hero in somebody else's dungeon. So draw 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this instance, we've got an axe. You can roll 1 additional die during the fight. So good stuff for us, if that makes sense, because again, we're representing the monsters. We're helping the monsters out, like there. Over here, starting next turn to player's turn, that card chooses 1 monster not on the hero's path, up to 5 spaces away from the hero. That monster instantly dies. So quite situational. The start of the next turn, the hero regains 2 health. Situational because we can't get more than 20 health, so keep an eye out on. You might be stuck with this card in your hand. The thing is, at the end of the round, when you get to phase C, you're only going to have hand size equal to whatever you've improved by. So this is improved by 1, 2, and 3. So you can start with 1, you can get to 2, get to 3, you're getting up to 4 as well. So you can choose to play cards when you need to. Finally, we have a shield over here. The next time the hero takes damage, takes 2 less damage, which should be 2 fewer. So remember, we have drawn that line. It's 1, 2, 3. Where else can we go? Well, we could start to improve it. So start actually boxing off over here. Remember, we've already got these other monsters here. So maybe that's the one that works best with us, or this one. So let's take this card, again, just in the bottom bit. More of these goblins. And of course, they're going to go somewhere over here. So that's going to keep on going until you've gone through all the deck, so 14 rounds. Then you move on to the hero phase. And that's what I talked about, of course, on the back of the sheet, whereby right now you're having this hero move. So it starts here, it needs to get down here. You can have it go straight to the exit as soon as you can, but if it's not fighting off any goblins and stuff, then if there's any treasure hidden there, then that's an issue. So right now it's whacking into things, it's avoiding the trap because that's worth 3 damage. There are some cards which say skip the next trap card, which I'll get back onto. Hits a goblin, hits an orc, then a goblin, etc. You can go through the same square twice, but you cannot encounter a monster more than once until it hits some other monster and comes back again. So you can't just try to whack it twice. Okay, and that's because you might have certain cards which work better with other things. So on to phase C. Now, of course, you are now taking whoever's drawn your thing back. You've passed your left, so they draw that path out, and then they bring it back to you, and now it's your turn to go ahead and crack on with going through it. So firstly, you're going to take your hero. It's going to hit the first thing, and yeah, it's taken a damage of 3, so you're going to mark off 3 points on your health, and then it's going to wait until everyone else has taken their turn, and then their turn, because you might have cards which say, right, I'm actually now going to play a card to bring back some hero strength. So someone could play this on my turn. So on their turn, they could say, right, I want to play this on you, which means when it's served my turn again to move the hero, yes, it's regained 2 health, so what I tend to do is just circle it, and then keep on going on. So eventually, everyone's going to stop at each point and do the thing, so eventually, everyone's been until the hero's died or it's escaped, and then you're going to count up your points. I tend to circle things to keep an eye out on where I've been, and then say, yep, it's alive, and then you're going to store out victory points. So victory points, you're going to do like this, amount of treasure, which I'll come back onto, amount of goblins. So in this case, I had 5 survive. I didn't have any orcs survive. I had 1 dragon worth 3 points, so that's 3 points. Hero did survive, so if it died, I got 5 points. Because it survived, I lose victory points equal to how much health it has left as well. Now, treasures. If you happen to get a treasure card, what you're doing with that is you're going to find one of your monsters and you're going to write a secret coordinate on. So in this case, it could be A7, let's write A7, and if it stays alive at the end of the game, then that's going to be kept alive. So as you, in the hero phase, so phase B, what you're going to be doing is trying to keep an eye out on making sure you're bashing these monsters, hopefully not dying, because you are trying to keep the hero, obviously, alive for somebody else, into that cave, get the damage, and get out. So that's the game. I have never won this game. I've gone for the trap strategy, trying to improve them, but then people have played these trap cards on me, which keeps them alive, which say, yeah, skip the next trap. So if people play with you frequently, they might say, right, I'm just going to make sure I get some trap cards to keep someone's hero alive, or maybe you want to consider that and maybe take them for yourself. Maybe you can draw another card from discard piles. Any card that you've played out, the central discard pile, including the cards which aren't taken each round, are kept there as well. It's borderline great game. It doesn't take too long. It takes about an hour. Some people don't like the fact that it does take that kind of duration, because it takes about half an hour to draw your map. And it's kind of a mini game, because then you're drawing that path, which is only a couple of minutes or so, but then you've got a whole other game in itself, which is actually then fighting back, which is very like D&D like. So that's something to bear in mind. You know, it's a game of 2 halves, and you'd think it would take slightly longer with more players because everyone's having to pause and wait. But compared to a 2, I didn't see a difference at all, really. It didn't seem to be an issue. So about an hour to play, other 15 minutes I kind of add on that teach perhaps. And very enjoyable. Of course, what you can do is focus on being a path person, maybe max out a dragon and do something like that. Whatever you want to choose to do. But yeah, it's enjoyable, escapist fun, something to enjoy and do. Large maps, double-sided, so too big to laminate, but I don't think I'll go through them all. I think there's a lot there. Won't play it necessarily every day, but it's enjoyable, bit of fun. Remember the text, there's a fair amount of text, so be careful how you're orientating that as well. Just make sure you're aware that these cards you're playing on somebody else's turn. What I don't like is necessarily like a 3, is someone can just pick on one person. So keep an eye on who's got what health and keep an eye on that. It seems quite situational about whether the hero gets out or not. Well, not situational, it's kind of well balanced, i.e. some people might not get out, some people might. So keep an eye on whether or not, of course, that is a factor for you, because if your hero gets out, that's not good for you, so you need to design a better trap. But every time you're taking cards with like improvements on them, of course, that's something else that you're not putting in here. So you're strengthening, but you definitely do need to strengthen a bit, because again, with a goblin strength of 0 and no other help from cards, you know, I've got 19, which is still really good, but it's not high enough. It has to be more than 20. If it's more than 20, it's going to go against that hero. Unless the hero hasn't got any special abilities, then that hero's lost, which means that monster has escaped, which means the hero has to move on, which gives you however many points you're at. So you definitely want to strengthen up a bit. So a little bit of luck with the dice rolls, some mitigation going on there. But that has been a game at Doodle Dungeon. Please check out the How to Set Up, Play and Review playlist. Please check out the Family Rate playlist. There's an AmassGames playlist, a playlist for Flip and Write. So that's going to go into this as well, along with Roll and Writes. In addition to that, you'll also find a Pegasus Spieler playlist, amongst others. So I hope you found that of interest. Thanks so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. This has been Doodle Dungeon.